And we are live. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Shootin the Breeze live podcast. I'm your host, Cameron Hayes. This is my co-host, Ashton. Ashton? Ashton! Ashton is no longer with us. He's apparently traveling to go on a family trip because that's more important than the podcast. People and their priorities these days. Anyway, tonight on the show, I have Richard Todd. Richard, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey, we started the gun range up here a few years ago. And decided we wanted to start having some competitions, learn a lot from some other guys that have been doing it for a while. And we're on our third year now. This is our first year having a series. It's a SHOOTIN Tactical Sniper series. And we're halfway through right now. This will be our fifth match coming up out of 8. It's getting pretty tight. We got a lot of good shooters out here. So we'll see what happens in the next couple of matches. Somebody will come out on top. We got a lot of good prizes coming out from a lot of good sponsors.
Yeah, actually, one of the sponsors, one of my sponsors, who also sponsors the series, is in the chat right now. Chris Magnet of Title II Manufacturing. Okay, so next question is, how did we meet? How did Richard Todd and Cameron Hayes meet?
Well, you started coming out with some matches, and I've met you with some other matches that are pretty famous around here. And we started shooting together, and since then we came pretty close. And you all rode a little bit out here, and all around nice guy.
Yeah. So the first match that I shot was actually the first precision rifle match that I ever shot in my life was actually a TRM match. I've said that a bunch of times over and over. That was it was one of the first matches at TRM. I want to say it was the second match that you had out there, and that was the first match I'd ever shot. It was a precision rifle match, and I ended up taking 8th place at that one, and I was shooting a factory PSA 6.5 Creedmoor gas gun, and then and since then I've got to see your matches evolve, and it's been awesome to be a part of it, like to RO matches and to get to come to your matches and stuff like that. I mean, like, obviously I miss a lot of matches because I'm in the Army and because of work and different things like that, but yeah, the matches and I hosted my match out at your property. It was I hosted my designated marksman match. You helped me proof the stages. So it was I think the first time that me and you actually spoke was the second match that I ever shot at your range, because at the end of the match it just started pouring rain and everybody was meeting up under the under that little the shooting bench or whatever, the shooting bench area. We all gathered around there or whatever. We all just started bullshitting or whatever, and that was whenever me and you actually started talking, and then since then we've just been friends. All right.
At the time, that was our only shelter. So since then, we've gotten 2 more big shelters out there, and we're trying to get 2 more before this fall happens. To keep some snow and rain off our head.
Yeah. All right. So that is how we met. All right. So who is Richard Todd? Who is Richard Todd as a person outside of the shooting world? Who are you?
Oh, it depends on who you ask. Probably. Opinions vary pretty widely. Ask my relatives. But no, I guess I'm a pretty decent guy, I guess. I started shooting with some of you guys, and I became pretty tight with a lot of the shooting community now, and I kind of found where I fit in, seems like.
I feel that.
But I do a regular job by day. I'm a welder most of the week, Monday through Thursday. I do a little bit of other work while I'm around there, but shooting is where my passion is. Running the shooting range, doing TWP classes, hosting matches, watching people get better. I like to see people come out there with a factory rifle and don't know the way to turn the scope upside down or sideways. And after a few lessons with them, they're driving nails with it and know how to adjust their scope and why they're adjusting it and how to do different things. And I guess it's just a feeling of accomplishment to see your students succeeding.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned that, because one of the things I wanted to talk about was something that you have in the background. I noticed that you're a hunter. You got a lot of deer heads in the background. And one of the things that you do out on your property that I was like, oh my God, that's awesome, is you take youths you do like the youth hunting thing. And that's awesome to me. Like, I love that you're getting, kids into the sport of hunting, or, or whatever you want to call it. You can say that hunting is not a sport, or, whatever. But I mean, to me, it is a sport because it's a trophy thing. But anyway, so like, I think that's super awesome that you bring kids out there to come and, hunt your property and stuff. Do you want to say anything about that?
Yeah, that's another passion I have, is bringing youth into the hunting sport and to a competitive shooting sport. So we have a youth division in the series. Most series don't have anything like that. And we're free to the youth. Youth can practice with us free. They shoot matches for free. We have youth deer hunt. We have youth practice days. We do a lot for the youth. And I like seeing the next generation coming up, learning how to shoot, learning how to hunt, learning about why they have freedoms and to protect the freedoms.
Yeah, that's important. Like, I really appreciate that. That's, that's something that you do out there. That's huge. Like, I wish, maybe some other gun ranges could take note of that, Yeah. Or not even necessarily gun ranges, like there's hunting clubs that say you can't have people that are under 16 at some hunting clubs, especially in North Carolina that I've seen.
We had 2 youths get their first deer at the shooting range this year. One of them is Gabby Metcalf, Coco Metcalf's daughter. She shot a nice 7-point this year on the range. And there was another young kid, another guy. He was like 9 years old, Connor, and he shot his first deer out there. But I love seeing the expression on their face and the excitement and how happy they are to succeed and get an animal. I remember when I was a kid, we would go hunting. It seemed like days and days and days, maybe a couple of weeks before you would see anything. Then it wasn't the right one to shoot, so you couldn't shoot it. So it's nice for the kids to have somewhere to come out here and hunt where there's nice food plots and there's a lot of deer around the population. We practice quality deer management out here, so there's quite a few nice bucks always running around.
Yeah, that's important. Anytime I've ever taken somebody on their first hunt, I've always had to be like, look, it's called hunting, not killing. So it's not a guarantee that you're going to get anything, So, and then, I'll take them out somewhere and we might not see shit. And, it's really cool that, especially that you had, the opportunity to take a group of youths with you to go do the hunt, because then that increased the opportunity for someone, to get a kill. Like, yeah, obviously not every kid is going to get a kill that day or whatever. But, just to have one of them do it, even if you had 15 of them and only one of them got a kill, that shows them, it can be done out here, like there are deer out here, and it's going to make them, it's going to give them that drive to want to continue,
All the kids celebrate together. Out of 8 kids, 2 of them shot their first deer. So, but they all celebrated. We had hamburgers and hot dogs at the end. They all had a blast. They had them t-shirts showing up. Fed them ice cream Sundays at lunchtime when we were at the shooting range. We went out there and practiced shooting with every one of them before they went hunting that afternoon. So we just made a whole day of it. It's fun.
Yeah. All right. So back to the talking points. All right. First talking point: gas or bolt?
I've almost wanted to change my mind. When I first started doing this, it was only bolt gun. Bolt is all I wanted to see because they were so accurate. It took that accuracy to hit the small targets out there. But my matches in the series have progressed from what it once was. We have way more shooters now. We were 20 shooters a couple of years ago, 40 last year, and we're like 80 to 90 every match this year. So we have a lot more shooters. So we have to decrease the floor times in order to fit everybody in, but also have everybody wanting to shoot plenty of rounds. Everybody wants to shoot 40 or 50 rounds, maybe more than that on the range day or match day. So between the round count and the short par times and some of the small targets, precision gas gun is what I would recommend right now.
Boom. Got another one for the gas guns. All right, cool. What is your favorite rifle chambering for long range?
It depends on how long you're going. So the matches we have out here in the series, you're only talking about moderate, medium range, really. You're talking about 560 yards. It's the longest possible shot at the moment. We're trying to get 1,000 yards. We won't even talk about that. It's been a headache for a while. But the 560 223s do very well at 560. We shoot the garage guns ammo 69 grain. I mean, those things are nice at 500 yards. Unless you got more than 10-mile-an-hour wind, you're pretty good with a 223 out here. Now, when the wind starts kicking up, I might would want to step up and maybe even go to I like the 6 Creedmoor just because it's a factory round. If you don't reload, you can go to the store and buy ammo for it. I have a 6.5 because I hunt with it and shoot precision matches with it. But if I was just shooting paper and matches and steel, I would go with the 6 Creedmoor probably. A little flatter shoot, a little less recoil. Stay in the scope, see your targets, see your misses, so your impact's a little easier.
Okay, yeah, that's actually I think you're the first one who has picked 6 Creedmoor, and I've been surprised that nobody's picked it because 6 Creedmoor has been increasingly popular, and rightly so. I mean, like you're matching the BC of the 6.5 pretty much because you're using a similarly shaped projectile to get that extra BC. But now you're dumping gallons more velocity into it. So like you've upped your velocity, but you're matching your BC. So now you've got a ballistically superior from a trajectory standpoint round. So like I'm like, why has nobody picked this yet? So I'm glad that you said that. And then the thing about 5.56, I tell people all the time, if you're 600 yards and in, like 5.56 gas gun is going to rule the world. Especially if you're running some of this right here. This right here is a Mark 262 ammo. Some of that 77 grain Sierra Match King going about 28 hundo out of a 20-inch barrel. That'll get it. That'll get it. All right, next question. Dial or hold?
It depends on the stage. So my daughter's been starting to shoot competitively this year, so I've been having to teach her a few things. And one thing I've been telling her, if you have something like a know your limit stage, where all your targets are the same distance, and you're probably going to have a really, really small target, I would recommend zooming in a little further and dialing. Zoom in 3 to 5 power per 100 yards is what I recommend. Most targets, if I want to see a big field of view, 3 power. Something like a know your limits, I might be 5 power per 100 yards. But yes, I definitely recommend dial if I was shooting something like all my targets at the same distance or nearly the same distance. Within 20 or 30 yards, I can aim a little low, aim a little high to make up the difference. Now, if I had a whole field of targets ranging from 200, 300, 400, 500, 800, 900, and I already knew the distances, I would already have those distances wrote down so I could get those really fast under the pop. But yeah, if I had a spotter over there calling my ranges out, I would also prefer just to hold over if I had many distances I had to shoot at. It takes too long to come out of your glass, look at the dial it, and get back in your glass and find where you were and start engaging your targets again. That's just a lot of wasted time. In these short par times, you can't do that.
Yeah, we've talked about this on the show, because it is one of our standard questions. Holding is becoming more and more common, especially with modern reticles the way that they are. And this is a good time for a shameless plugs and stuff like that for whatever scope companies and all that other stuff. But I've worked on Vortex. There you go. Like they've got the what is it, the ERBC whatever. What was it?
It's the new Strike Eagle. It's less than $1,000 competitively with the Leupold Mark V.
Yeah, but it has the reticle that it uses, like the EBRC or something like that. And like that reticle's dope. Like with modern reticles, like the things that we've done with reticles and the truing your reticle or making sure that your reticle is truly 1 mil or if you're a minutes guy, then having it set in minutes and stuff like that. Like I don't dial at all. I zero my scope and then I just keep shooting. Like that's I've shot lots. I've shot lots and lots of matches, lots of different chamberings, lots of different optics and all that stuff. And I've found that, with modern reticles being the way that they are and stuff like that, it just doesn't make sense to dial. It doesn't, especially under match conditions, Now, I guess if you were like an F-class shooter or something like that, but not like a sniper match shooter or PRS guy or anything like that, it might make sense. Might make sense then. But, for the kind of shooting that me and you do and, like sniper type shooting and sniper matches, stuff like that, yeah, it doesn't make sense to dial. All right. What is your long range experience?
Well, I'm mostly self-taught, I guess you would say, and I learned from a lot of my friends that shoot out here at the range with us. But I guess 8 years ago, we clear cut our timber out here on the property, and I noticed it had a nice terrain to it, like I could see a long ways. But 8 years ago now, I had never shot at a target of 200 yards away, target practicing or anything. So I started putting some target stuff out there and thought I had got me a nice scope. I got an AR-10 308, put a nice millet scope on there, about $300, but it had a dial on it. And I learned quick that cheap scopes do not tell you the truth. Dial back to zero, and it was no close. And I had a lot of frustration, and I finally went out and bought an expensive scope that told the truth. And I started learning some stuff and shooting long range. And my buddies started coming out here shooting long range with me and just having fun. And we decided to start hosting matches. And then some better shooters started showing up out here, and we started having matches than just the regular local boys out here to have deer rifles. And we started learning from those. And Ashton was really one of the first ones that came out here and told me how matches run and told me how stages flow, because I had never even been to a competitive match of pistol, rifle, shotgun, anything. Maybe a few skeet matches, shooting clay pigeons. But Ashton taught me a lot about how those holdover rifles work, and he showed me how fast you can actually be using the holdover, which really got my attention. And I went and bought a nicer bolt rifle. Tika's when I bought this factory rifle because I didn't know anybody to build one. But it's just been, progressing from there. Now I used to shoot 2 matches, 3 matches a year, and now I go out of town 4 or 5 times a year shooting pretty big matches. And I became real close with the competitive shooting community. We all have a good time when we go out of town together and go out to eat a few times and cut up, and just make fun.
Yeah, it's definitely the people. I talk about that all the time. The people that you meet at these matches are just like the best people in the world. You mentioned a couple things in there. One that Ashton was one of the people who taught you, and that you were self-taught. So Ashton was pretty much self-taught as far as the long-range game is concerned as well. Ashton had like a long range to just practice on, and but it wasn't even a range. It was just a big property, and he started shooting out there, and he just started pushing the target back further and further, and started learning about bullet drop and what the wind does and stuff like that. He actually learned with a 300 Win Mag, like just a regular 300 Win Mag bolt action hunting rifle, and he just kept pushing the target back and stuff like that. And he just got super into it. Also, you mentioned Tika Rifles, and Todd Van Langen, the host of the Bushnell, or one of the hosts for the Bushnell, and he comes to a bunch of matches and stuff like that. Super cool dude. You've met him, you know him. And what's up?
Everybody knows Todd.
Yeah, and so he shoots for Tika. So, and he pushes the TAC A1 and stuff like that, like hard. He actually was shooting a Tika, I think it was a TAC A1 in 338 Edge or some shit like that. And he was doing one of the ELR matches or something like that here recently when he was traveling. So whenever I heard you mention Tika, I was like, oh, I need to say something about this. All right, so matches that you host or are affiliated with.
Well, last year, all the matches were Carolina Top Shot matches, and then there were Carolina Top Shot 2-gun matches, and we're probably going to have another Carolina Top Shot match this year. It'll be a 22 match. We're looking at somewhere in August, but a lot of people have been coming up to me wanting to shoot a 22 match again. I hadn't done one since last summer, so I think we're going to try to squeeze one in. But Tactical Sniper Series is what we've got going on this year. This is the first year we've had it. We've had a sellout crowd at 2 out of our 4 matches so far. The other 2 were pretty good. The COVID hurt us a little bit at our last match, but I think we're pretty much past that. But SHOTAC is our main sponsor this year. They were down in Charleston, South Carolina, building rifles, long-range stuff, the stuff like Mark Wahlberg shot on the movie Sniper. But they were bought by Campbell Arms Manufacturing. But they're still called SHOTAC, but Campbell Arms is out of Tennessee. And that's where they're building those rifles now. And they're also going to start building short-action bolt actions and their gas guns. So they got a lot coming out of these guys now.
All right. Where are we now? All right. So, and matches that you are affiliated with.
Snipers Unknown is part of our series this year.
Mm-hmm.
So they're affiliated with us. So everybody that goes to Snipers Unknown will get points for our series. So they're affiliated with us, and we're trying to encourage all of our shooters to go shoot that match. That's a really fun match. It's been my 3rd year in a row shooting in it. You know, we went out Friday and brought the rifles in. They fed us. We had a good time hanging out with the guys. Shot all day Saturday. We wrapped it up like 4 o'clock on Sunday and had awards. And I said they fed us breakfast and supper and brought sandwiches out to us at lunch. It was just really nice. A lot of good sponsors out there. Nice prize tables at Snipers Unknown Challenge. That's going to be September. No, that's October this year, isn't it?
Yep.
October 23rd, maybe.
I don't remember. I don't remember exactly when it is. All I know is like I told them, you know, like that because like there's 2 like big matches that I shoot every year. That are like my like these are like the 2 biggest matches that I shoot. That's the Bushnell, and when I say big matches, I mean like multi-day matches.
Right.
I shoot the Bushnell and I shoot Snipers Unknown. Those are the 2 big matches that I shoot. And then like you know the 1-day matches that I shoot, like I'll shoot designated marksman matches. I come shoot your matches when I'm not doing Army shit. You know, like the Army kind of gets in the way of me shooting a lot of matches and stuff. I shoot your matches. Whenever my buddies are hosting matches, like I really hate that I missed the match at Panteo that Chris was hosting. I hate that I missed that match, but you know, Army comes first, you know. So anyway, tips and tricks. What is a tip or a trick that you learned that really like exponentially helped you in the long range game?
Well, the first match I went to was the first good match I went to was Snipers Unknown 3 years ago. And we had no idea. Devin Davis and I were up there as partners. We had no idea what we were doing. And that's where we met AJ, your old partner AJ. So he taught me a trick at the match that I carry on now and I pass it on to other people. Whenever you look at somebody leave a stage, look at how high their bipod is. Look at how the stuff is set up. Look how high their tripod is. Look and see different things they've done because they were just out shooting and you heard them hit targets, do what they did. Now, if somebody just comes off of there shaking their head, throwing their gear on the ground, didn't hit anything, Bobby, don't set your stuff up like them.
Don't look at their gear. Don't look at their gear. That's actually a really good tip. I've never heard that one, but it does make sense. I mean, like, you know, like I've shot a bunch of matches. Hell, me and you have shot matches, you know, together on the same team and stuff. And like, you know, like I'll see, you know, people walk up to a stage or walk off the stage and they've already got their tripod like completely extended and they've got, you know, like everything all set up and they've already got like their underarm bag and everything like that. Like they've got everything ready to go. And then they go out on a stage and go shoot it. And then they come back and they're like, damn it, because they had something just set up like a little bit too high or a little bit too low or something like that. I can't tell you how many times I've gone up to a stage. Hell, even at your match. I remember specifically, it was the time me and Tom Byram shot your match together on a team match. And you had that one stage where you had to climb in through not a barrel, a tube. You had to go through a tube and you had to shoot through that tube. And I remember I had my bipod down all the way. So whenever I got down into the tube, I couldn't see the first target. And he was like, the first target's at 300. And I'm like looking all over the place. I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see it. And then I realized that there was like a hill right in front of me. And I was like, it's behind the hill. But because I know what I know about bullet drop, I was like, I could just barely see like the top of the head. So I just aimed into the hill. So like where my reticle was actually pointing for the point of impact that I wanted, it was on where the target would have been. It was kind of a blind shot. And then I shot and I got an impact on it. I was like, whew, thank God that was lucky. I probably cut some grass whenever I sent that one, but yeah. But yeah, that's a good tip. Nobody has said that one yet. So that is a good one. All right. What you just
said about putting a little hill of dirt between the shooter and the target? Yeah. I've been known to do that more than one stage. And the pistol stage, The pistol guarding at the last match, the 99-yard pistol target was the same way. When you knelt down on the ground, you could only see the top of the head, but a 9mm drops enough they were lobbing right over that heel perfect. So this coming match, I'm going to go ahead and give you a little tip. The red targets are worth 5 points each on the next match. And a lot of them, they're all going to be unknown distance, but a lot of them are going to trick you. And I'm going to tell now, there's little heels in the ground, and I've got them tucked behind the heel. But a lot of cases, it might be 100 or 200 yards behind the heel. So when you go to range it, it's gonna be hard to range your targets. So if you're looking for some of those targets, kind of playing a little eye game on you.
I like it. I like it. It's devious, and I like it. All right. What is a piece of equipment that was a game changer for you? I know I say game changer, and everybody's mind automatically goes to the game changer bag. So, like, I've literally had more than 50% of the people who have come on the show and I've asked that question to have said, "Oh, a squeeze bag." And now I'm just like, stop saying fucking squeeze bag. Anything but a squeeze bag. Just tell me what you like other than a squeeze bag. Everybody likes squeeze bags. Everyone likes them. I would almost take a bipod off of a gun if somebody said, you can only have one thing for this gun. And then I'd be like, okay, I'm going to pick the squeeze bag over a bipod because I can do more with it. Anything but a squeeze bag.
It's hard to choose just one thing that I would recommend. When somebody asks me, what do I need to start shooting this out here? I got a little small list of things. I mean, you have to have, it's not a squeeze bag, but you have to have a good bag. And I would recommend a small rear bag for everybody with a small rear bag. The Warhorse Traveler is perfect size. You know, they tether on to the butt of the rifle, and they got a nice cleat for the front. Even if you don't have a plate to mount the cleat to, it goes right over your gun. And on these barricades and a lot of these props that are really, really awkward and off center and unlevel, that cleat just grabs any kind of front bag, but that cleat just really grabs it tight and holds you in place. So, I mean, you got to have a good set of bags to shoot good in these matches. You also have to see your target. I mean, without a good scope and a good muzzle brake and a good bipod, AccuTac is our new bipod sponsor, and I've tried one for the first time. Man, I threw my Atlas in the garbage. I hadn't picked it back up since. So a good bipod, steady you up, a good bipod in a bag, you hit target that you get before.
I've actually never used the AccuTac bipods. I've never used those before. Are they are those the ones that are like a ring that go around, or is that, am I thinking of somebody else?
They have two different kinds. They have one that almost has a mini ball head made into it, and they got one, they've got quite a few models, but the one I have doesn't. Mine just one little lever on the bottom, you push in, it tilts your camp back and forth and tightens back down, but the legs are spring loaded, so when you pull the legs out, they click, and then when you go to put them back in, you squeeze the button, they pop back in all the way, so it's easy one-handed adjustment. Just like you said, you were in that tube and you were too low. Anytime you're going downhill and your target's back uphill, you better get those bipod legs up. And if it's easy one-hand adjustment, one hand, and you're back on target real fast. It's a little harder with some other bipods with adjust the legs on them, get your height just right. But yeah, a good bipod is a must out here.
Okay. All right. So your piece of equipment that you're suggesting is bipod. I like that because like you are the first person who has said bipod, so I like it. All right. Are there any new developments, anything exciting, a new car, house, promotion, or any new developments in your life? It doesn't even necessarily have to do with the shooting community. It can just be any new development at all.
Well, we are going to start going to the practice score. I bought a whole case of tablets. So I hadn't got them downloaded and got them going yet, but that's in the works. We're going to try to start doing that next match and seeing if it'll work as a backup, just playing with it. And maybe by the last match of the year, we'll try to be having them going full speed. But the plan is to go straight to practice score as soon as 2021 season starts.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
That's all I can think of right now. We do have some Greg Walsh made us some 80-round ammo carriers. The 120s were a little too small. These 80s right here are perfect for one-day matches. And even like you say, the big matches that I go to with you, they're normally pretty much one-day matches with the group I'm in because we get to go back to the motel or to our vehicle and reload our day packs.
Yep.
So we're not camping over the weekend, so 80 rounds perfect.
Yep. Yeah, that's Greg was actually on my squad at the Bushnell, so he was showing me his, and I was pretty impressed with it. Didn't Armageddon Gear start making those? Like Armageddon Gear actually makes those now, right?
Well, I should have had a phone call with him before tonight, but the last I saw him post was that he was back over all the sales of Walsh Custom Defense products. So I don't know if him and Armageddon decided to go different ways or what the whole deal is, but I saw him post that he was over all the manufacturing of the Walsh Custom Defense products.
All right. Whoops, that was my bad. I didn't know. That was my bad. I didn't know. That's none of my business. That's their thing. All right. That's new developments. Okay, so new developments in my life. It's been a little while since I've done a podcast. I got the 6mm Cheetah up and running. As you guys know, the last podcast I did was at the demo event in Alabama. I went and shot the demo event in Alabama. The Cheetah worked awesome. I got to, hand it off to some people and let them shoot it. And, people's eyes got wide whenever they got to shoot it. They're like, this is, amazing. Because all the people who shot the Hood Rats match shoot the quantified performance match in Georgia. The quantified performance match is a designated marksman type match hosted by one of the dudes who wrote the 322.9, the Army's rifle and carbine marksmanship manual. So if anybody knows what a designated marksman should be able to do, it's those guys. And they're hosting that match. They host those match, a couple times a year. They have the quantified performance matches out in Georgia. And I was thinking, what would be the best rifle cartridge for a designated marksman? And that's what I designed my rifle cartridge around. As somebody who has been a designated marksman for the Army for, a number of years, I was just thinking, how could I fix this gap? And, I had made my release. I said, hey, this is what the 6mm Cheetah is. This is a rifle cartridge I designed. This is why it's dope. This is, this and that and all this other stuff. And then I finally got to, shoot the prototype. I got to hand the prototype off to some people and stuff like that. People got to shoot it. People liked it. People didn't like it. We may have an Aston!
The one and only.
Aston! You made it towards the tail end.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you made it. Hey, so one of the things that Richard said earlier that I was like, oh, I wish Ashton was here to hear this, was he said that you are one of the people who taught him, like, most of the stuff that he knows, or like the earlier stuff that he learned about long-range shooting and stuff. And I was like,
lying.
Yeah. Why are you lying about that?
Are we live?
Yes, we are live right now.
Oh, good deal.
Hey, turn your phone sideways. Atta girl. So anyway, we're on the new developments part. I'm talking. Yeah, nice. Did you just get into Buford?
Yeah.
You been drinking?
No, I've been driving. Of course, I would not do that.
All right. Cheers. So anyway, we were talking about new developments. I was talking about the Cheetah. So because that's like the big new development in my life is I've got the Cheetah thing going on. Right now, I don't have any of the Cheetahs with me here now because I sent them back to Bullet so that they could swap out some stuff. So like I've got the original, the prototype barrels on some guns right now, and I wanted Bullet to swap those out for the new barrels, the barrels that I'm going to be like the customers are actually going to be getting. And the prototype barrels are going to be like my backup barrels basically. So anyway, so the 6mm Cheetah, it was, wicked successful. Got to show it off to some people. Some people liked it, stuff like that. I've already sold, cause I only bought 20, which is like I bought 10, 18 inch and 10, 12 inch. And I've already sold most of the 18 inch and I've only sold a couple of the 12 inch barrels. Whenever I actually get the physical barrels like in my hand and I'll be able to sell them. Hey Ash, can you mute your whatever?
Yeah.
It sounds like you're masturbating. There we go. So yeah, it's muted. What was I saying? I got caught up thinking about Ashton masturbating. Oh yeah, so I sold. I feel like that whenever I actually physically have the cheetah barrels like in my hand, and I can say, "Hey, you can order this today and get it today," then they'll sell. I'll sell the rest of them out. And like the way I'm selling them is I'm selling it as a kit. You get a barrel, a matching bolt to it, and you get a fulling 3 sizing die and a case gauge. And one of the really cool things about my rifle cartridge was 3 days later, Hornady released the 6mm ARC. Literally 3 days after I was like, yeah, 6mm cheetah's a thing, Hornady was like, fuck that cheetah. But from what I've found, the 6mm cheetah outperforms the ARC because I can get one.
Title II manufacturing making some cheetahs for you to sell, for them to sell. I thought I had one of them that had a really cool paint job on it. It was a nice looking rifle.
The Title II?
So are they selling you cheetahs now?
Title II? Yeah. Yes, Title II is selling. So they'll sell an upper kit, like they sell the 6mm cheetah upper, or you can buy a whole rifle that's Title II, and that's strictly through Chris. Like I have nothing to do with that. That's all Chris. So if you want one that's a Title II gun, contact Chris or Title II Manufacturing and say, hey, I want this chambered in 6mm cheetah. But if you just want the barrel kit or whatever, then contact me. So the cheetah was a big deal. I got my windows tinted on my truck yesterday, so that was cool. What else? Oh, I bought a Kestrel. Hornady had that, really good deal. I should be mad at Hornady, but I'm really not. Hornady had that really good deal on the their Father's Day special or whatever for the Kestrel with Hornady 4DOF and everything like that. So I got it. Oh, this is a cool thing. On the rifle that we proofed the stages with out at whenever I hosted my designated marksman match, you should recognize this rifle. Both of you guys should. Whenever we proofed those stages, we did it with this gun, but it had a control brake on it. Well, I finally got my AEM-5 suppressor collar, and I've had the AEM-5 muzzle brake. So now on my 18-inch, what used to be my 3-gun rifle that I said would be basically the perfect designated marksman rifle, I now have an AEM-5 suppressor on it. I kept talking about Bullet Consulting Group's Glock 19 that they did for me, and I never had it like handy where I could show it to people. It's right here. This is the Deadpool gun that Bullet Consulting Group did for me. Got some fancy Deadpool stuff written on it. And this is pretty dope. TJ Ramsey, the Lead Slinging Ginger on YouTube. They do the Slinging Lead Live podcast and stuff like that, which was the first podcast I was ever on. Made me a Deadpool knife to match my Deadpool gun. This thing is sick, and it's sharp AF. So, that's what's new with me. Ashton, welcome back to the show. What is new in your life? What are some new developments? I love that your eyes are all bugged.
That's it. Just been spending time with the family fishing.
Stop it. You need to get back to shooting. Shooting is more important than family.
Yeah, but them fish eat good, though, so.
That's true. That is true.
We on the Spanish mackerel run now. We caught over 100 last weekend, so we're trying to get back on them.
Tell the story about Zan.
Oh, my God. We got time for that?
Yes. Tell the story.
So Zan's my little brother. He's right at 13 years younger than me. So he's 21, 22. He went out with his girlfriend on their 14-foot aluminum boat a month or so ago. And they had in tow another boat, which had his girlfriend's mom and her brother and one other guy in a boat. And they wanted to go shark fishing on the ocean for their first time in a boat. So I took them inland and we did some red fishing. Didn't really catch much. And then I took them out to the channel where we got a shark spot, and I anchored up got a couple on, and they finally followed us out and anchored 30 yards from me and started hooking up on sharks. Well, we had to leave early, so I started pulling anchor, and I told them, hey, we're about to head out. And as we're pulling anchor,
as you're pulling anchor, world froze. The world froze.
We had the motor cranked, and my sister was in my boat pulling anchor. I heard
Hold on. You had it stopped off at you were pulling anchor.
Yep. So I was pulling anchor, and I heard Zan say something 30 yards in front of me in his boat. And I looked up, and his boat was turned weird for the current. He used to be anchored, and now it was turned. I'm like, oh, he's pulling anchor too. Whatever. We keep pulling anchor in, and then all of a sudden he hollers like a little girl talking about, Ashton, help. I look up.
A little girl.
His boat does a 180. A little 14-foot John boat does a 180 and starts heading out to sea. Motor is up. Ain't even running. So I immediately think a manta ray or something sucked his anchor, and they both fell down in the boat, and they're scrounging around, and I'm yelling to get your knife, cut the anchor rope, cut your losses, cut it, get your knife. And he acts like he understands what I'm saying, but he runs to his motor and starts messing with his motor, which he broke the pull start on. So he's trying to take the cowling off his motor to crank it for some reason. We just get the anchor in. I plane off, run up to him, give the wheel to my sister, get up, touch the knife to the anchor line, and it cuts like butter. And they're like out of breath. His girlfriend's about to cry. She was about to jump out the boat.
Bailey?
I said, what the hell happened? She said a dolphin hit the anchor line, came up, was tangled in it, hit the side of the boat, and we were going offshore. A 9 or 10 foot dolphin had this little boat at 10 to 12 knots going out to sea. And I said, why didn't you get the knife like I told you to? He said, you didn't say shit. There's 4 boats around us. All of them were like, nah, he was telling you to cut it. He shut down. He didn't know what to do. I was trying to crank the motor. I'm like, where are you going to chase it?
He was going to chase that dolphin down. That was his Moby Dick, and you ruined it.
Oh, my God. I've never seen a dolphin do that.
Yeah, me either. That was. I remember whenever you told me that story the first time, I was just like, what?
That was the abridged version. I laughed for days after that.
All right. Okay, so now that was the new developments thing. You've been fishing and dealing with family and stuff like that, whatever. All right, so do y'all have any cool toys? I know I already kind of showed mine. The AEM5 suppressor was kind of my new toy kind of thing, and then I got the knife and stuff like that. But other than that, I don't really have too many cool toys to show off right now.
I don't have it with me to show, but I've got a nicely painted rifle now.
You showed that on the last podcast.
I didn't show Richard yet, though.
Oh,
I got to get it up to his match.
That's truth. That's a truth.
Yeah, I missed the last one. I was fishing with him again.
Neither of us have our Title II rifles right now, and we are Team Title II. We are shitty sponsored shooters. We are the fucking worst.
Him before he picked me up. But you know what you're doing?
Up, back, forward, down.
We don't have time for that stuff.
All right. What you got, Richard? Cool toys?
I don't have it built yet. I'm building my daughter a 224 Valkyrie at the moment, a boat gun. I've already got the Curtis action in. Brittany McMillan's hooking us up with a stop. Jeremy Control Solution gonna give us a break for the end of it. So we're almost there. I can't wait to see how it shoots. Gratis Rifles. Robert Gratis is gonna be doing the build for us, so I'm excited to see how this thing shoots. You know, I mean, he's known worldwide for how he builds rifles. So I'm excited.
Yeah, actually, I talked to that dude on the phone because DL Dye works for him, and I called DL and I was talking to DL, and me and him were just talking about whatever. I was saying something about production kind of things for the Cheetah, and he was like, "You need to talk to my boss," and I ended up talking to him, and he was a really nice dude, real straight shooter. I like that. I like him. He's a good dude and stuff. And so you're doing a 224 Valkyrie and a bolt.
Yeah, she's been shooting gas guns so far this series. I got this AR-15. It's a Spikes with a SIG upper on it, 18-inch barrel, 223, and she's been doing pretty good with it. But the wind's been bucking around pretty good, and I thought about maybe getting her a heavier bullet, still no recoil, but I want to get her into a bolt gun so she can start working the action on the bolt. Like I said, up, back, forward, down. I've been practicing with her. You know, she's a little faster with that gas gun. We were just talking earlier about how the gas gun's probably the better gun for these matches out here. But I still want her to learn the bolt gun and how to be efficient with bolt guns. So that's what we're building.
Yeah, yeah. It's you're talking about a heavier bullet that bucks the wind a little bit better, but still has similar velocity. You know, I know a guy who created a rifle cartridge that's really similar to what you're asking for. It's a heavier projectile that I'm pushing like 2,700 feet per second out of an 18-inch barrel.
That definitely has my attention. If I go to build her a gas gun, it'll be hard to look at another ground other than that cheetah. I mean, that cheetah, these kind of matches, that's a good thing.
Hold on one second. Ashton, mute your phone. There you go. Yeah, you're.
But I was gonna talk. But
what were you gonna say, Ashton?
I'm just gonna say, you know, bolt guns are pretty good. Stick with the bolt gun.
Man, shut up.
We're gonna go gas.
Mute your phone. Mute your phone. We're done. You don't have anything else to say. Just keep it muted. Anyway.
Cameron, this is coming from one of the fastest bolt gun guys that I know of.
Yeah, there is that. One of the.
Apparently, I still have a lot to learn from someone in Alabama, though. So.
That's true. So there's a little bit of a backstory to the up, back, forward, down thing. We'll talk about it after the podcast, but there is a backstory to that that has to do with somebody in Alabama who knows more about who been slinging a bolt longer than Ashton's been alive. Could learn him some shit, and he lost to Ashton. Lol. But anyway, yeah. So like, and you know, the as far as the cheetah is concerned, whenever I ran the numbers, you know, like I really designed it around this projectile. This is the Sierra 95 grain TMK. This projectile right here, out of my 18-inch version, I was getting close to 2,800 feet per second with those. So what I was effectively doing, but what I was trying to do initially was I was trying to get close to the same velocity as Mark 262, which is kind of the gold standard for 5.56 ammo. I was trying to match that velocity and get the BC that you get with the 175 grain Sierra Match King out of the 308. So that way you have more velocity than your standard, you know, whatever, than like your 6.5 Grendel and stuff like that. You have more. You're beating it out on velocity because you're matching the velocity with the 5.56, but you've got the BC of the 308. So that was kind of my goal, was I wanted to have the 308's BC and I wanted to have the 5.56 velocity, because they say you can't have both, the best of both worlds. And I did that. That is what I did. And it's performed outstanding. You know, like we shot the first target that I shot with it that was past 100 yards was a 10-inch plate at 355 yards. And I shot it off of a bridge, just rested on a bag. Shot the plate fell off of the stand. And Ashton looks over at me and was like, "That thing hit hard." That was with the Hornady 105s. That was with the Hornady 105 boat tail hollow points. So I hit that plate, knocked the plate down, and then there was a target at 675, and I was like, well, the 355's down. Let's move on to the next target. And the next target was 675 yards away, and I shot a group on that target that was 4 inches at 675 yards out of an 18-inch gas gun. And Ashton was just like, "You got something. You got something there." And then luckily, and then the next day I got to hand it off to people who had never shot it before. They had only heard about it and stuff like that. I got to hand it to all the people at the Hood Rat match, and dudes would shoot it. and they would hit that 675, and it was a 66%. So they'd hit that target, and then they'd like look back at me after they hit it, just like, damn, because they had just shot a match the day before, and they couldn't hit, some of them couldn't hit that target. And now I just hand them this gun, and they're just like, I just made it easy for you, basically. So yeah, that was that was the big thing, the cheetah. The next big thing for the cheetah is I'm going to be trying these out, which this is what I'm doing with it this weekend. These are 87 grain. So with the 87 grain bullets, what I'm projecting is that I will match the BC of the 77 grain Sierra Match King, because it has a really similar BC. It's almost the same with that projectile in the 77 grain. So I'm going to be matching the BC, but projected I should have 100 feet per second more velocity than Mark 262. My projection is I'm going to be getting about 2850 out of those projectiles out of my 18-inch version. So I'm really anxious to see how that performs. If it performs well, and you're shooting a match that's 600 yards and in, it's done. It's a done deal. You got that bullet coming smoking out of that gun, and it can be low BC. The target's only 600 yards away. It's not that big of a deal. That would just be that would be a game changer. And then whenever I start shooting at those targets that are 1,000 yards plus, I can run the 105s or the 95 grainers. But anyway, sorry, I got way off talking about my thing. I'm super passionate about the cheetah because it was my baby. I wanted to prove that a regular guy, if he just has like this idea like this, then I could make my own rifle cartridge. There's not a whole lot of people in the world who can say I designed my own rifle cartridge from start to finish.
It was a great round. But what you said about the increased velocity and the lower bullet weight, I see that becoming a trend in our tactical division. Everybody was shooting the heavier 308 rounds earlier in the year, and they probably are more accurate and they're higher BC. And for longer distances, longer than what we shoot, it would be beneficial. But now I see a lot of them dropping down to 155s with screaming velocities, shooting a lot flatter. So if they misjudge their distance for their holdovers, it's a lot more forgiving because it's a lot flatter round. And I see the tactical division, a lot of these guys are moving in that direction.
Yep, danger space, man. You want the biggest danger space possible. So if that target's close, just send that bullet screaming at that target. That's why the dudes who varmint hunt, they're shooting like little prairie dogs and shit like that. They're shooting a small target, but they're shooting them at 300, 400, 500 yards. So they want their bullet moving like 3,500 feet per second, 4,000 feet per second. They're sending these bullets ridiculous speeds, burning out their barrels, but they're sending these bullets. Yeah, get 5 rounds out of it and then have to swap barrels. They're sending these bullets out at ridiculous speeds, but that's the intended purpose of it. Like they want to smoke that prairie dog at 300 yards and whatever. So yeah, it makes sense to shoot a 55 grain varmint round or whatever and just send it 4,000 feet per second and smoke that prairie dog with it or whatever. All right. Next is sponsors. Shout out to your sponsors.
Our main sponsor, I don't want to forget anybody, but we've got a SHOTTEC for our main sponsor, Alameda State Armory, Vortex, Hoover, Control Solutions, Warhorse Development. Oh man, I know I'm gonna forget somebody. Title 2 Manufacturing. We got 2 new ones. I told you, AccuTac and Gunwild. They're not on our roster, but Gunwild donating the rifle to the match for the series at the end. Vovu, Andy Vovu, we talked about him a while ago. Bullet Consulting. He's donating a lot to us. A lot of good sponsors out there. Lead Star has donated a nice package, upper and lower set, and a lot of parts. Lead Star makes some really cool trick products for AR. Let me think about it some more. Go ahead.
All right. Actually, Lead Star and PSA are they were the reason that they started like pushed over to your match or whatever, Chad, the owner, I was telling him, because he was saying that he wants to start pushing more stuff into precision rifle stuff, because like people automatically affiliate PSA with inexpensive AR-15s, or some people say AR-15s for poors or whatever and all this other shit. And Chad was actually talking about matches to sponsor for PSA and Lead Star, because they're not the same, but they're similar. They're both owned by Chad. And I told him that TRM was one of the matches that he needed to sponsor. Same thing with Title II Manufacturing. Title II Manufacturing was, they follow me. I'm their number one. So like whenever I'm like, hey, this is a good series, you should sponsor them, that's one that gets pushed over. All right, so my sponsors. My number one sponsor right now is Title II Manufacturing. It's Chris Magnet and his wife Annie and like the whole Hood Rat team. They did the match over in Georgia and stuff like that. That was the whole last podcast that I did. It was a 3-part podcast. It was like 3 hours of content, because I had so many people on the podcast, and me and Ashton were exhausted from the last podcast. It was that's why it took us so long in between to do another podcast, because we were just like, we're never doing another podcast after this one. No, Title II Manufacturing, they make the Hayes rifle. They're pushing out rifles in my rifle cartridge. They make knives, which they kind of got pigeonholed for a while there as knife people, and that's that's kind of disingenuous. That's the way that they get pigeonholed for whenever they make super dope ass rifles. They do really good paint jobs. Ashton's probably going to talk about that here in a minute. And they're good people. That's kind of the big thing about whenever somebody wants to contacts me and says, hey, we want you to wear our logo, we want you to represent our company and stuff like that. They didn't ask me to represent their company. They asked me to be a part of their family. So Title II Manufacturing is just I got mad love for Title II Manufacturing. Next on the list, Aerodynamics. Aerodynamics was my very first sponsor. They were the first ones to be like, hey, that guy's got something. And I've been I wear the Aerodynamics t-shirt at every match that I go shoot, or just about every match. I can't wear the same shirt for 3 days in a row if it's a long match and stuff like that. They make dope ass rifles. I've actually got my stuff sitting right here, because I was trying to load up some 6mm comp match for my Aerodynamics rifle, because somebody was asking me to go do a mile shoot, and I was going to go shoot the Aerodynamics rifle out at that mile shoot. And then I got asked to work another event to demo the Cheetah, and that kind of takes priority. I kind of have to do that. So Aerodynamics, Bullet Consulting Group. Andy Vovu, you were just talking about him a few minutes ago. He made my dope ass Boogaloo cup. He made the Glock 19 that I just showed you guys a little bit ago, and he's the guy who's making the 6mm Cheetah barrels. So he has my reamers. He gets my barrels whenever I get my barrels in and stuff like that. And he's making, the matching bolts that go with the barrels. He's making the dies himself. He's doing all this stuff himself. I've actually been in the shop watching him make this stuff, and it's just he's just a super good dude. And he was one of those guys who was like, hey man, you're the kind of guy who I want to represent my company, and that to me is just like a big me this guy. Control Solutions Muzzle Brakes, you just talked about them, Jeremy Kahn. I've got the Control rifle it's a 300 Win Mag. I just hand off to people and say, hey, fucking shoot this, just so they can see how effective their brakes are. Todd Van Langen, we talked about him earlier, and he says, just like I do, that those are the best goddamn muzzle brakes in the world. It's like Frank's Red Hot. You put that shit on everything. Todd Resource Management, they actually sponsor my YouTube channel, and Richard Todd's on the show right now. So whenever I get a product in or something like that from a gun company, I say, hey, Richard, I need a place to go shoot this shit. Can I come use your range? And he goes, yeah, that's cool. And then I go out to TRM and I test out products and stuff like that. And I couldn't ask for a better place to evaluate products. It's perfect. It's set up to do YouTube videos. And the matches and stuff like that. Green Mountain Defense. Kent Hauer is the owner of Green Mountain Defense. Green Mountain Defense is if you want to get some learning in on how to shoot your pew more gooder for personal defense, vehicle defense, stuff like that. Kent Howard's the dude, and if he can't learn you what you need to learn about shooting or whatever, he can point you in the right direction. Because he's not just a teacher, he is a student. He goes to classes, and he's receptive. That's what I love about that dude. Well, one of the things I love him. He's also adorable. The Slinging Lead Live podcast, that was the first place that I'd ever been on a podcast before. And I've become really good friends with TJ. He's the one who made me, the Deadpool knife. I'm actually wearing one of their shirts. It says run your gun, not your mouth. I'm wearing the one of the Slinging Lead Live podcast T-shirts right here. And TJ's going to have a cheetah. He's actually buying a cheetah just so that he can evaluate it on his YouTube channel. And probably because he wants to kill deer with it and shit. 903 Tactical out of Texas. Actually, you got to meet him. I introduced you to him, Richard. It was George Gubler. He came out and he's watched me shoot, and he owns his own company and stuff like that. And we all know that trying to start your own business or owning your own business or whatever, it's difficult. Especially in today's world where gun people are bad people and all this other stuff. Sight Right. I was talking about optics and reticles and stuff like that. I've got a buddy, Chris Diaz, and he is the dude who runs Sight Right, the website and stuff like that. They got optics. They've got, different manufacturers of optics and stuff like that. And me and him have, kind of back and forth talked about, what we want to see in future reticles and stuff like that, especially pertaining to LPVOs and stuff, because, like I had said, and you guys both know how passionate I am about the role of a designated marksman and stuff like that. And we're trying to, we were talking about LPVOs for designated marksmen. So, a reticle that would work well for somebody whose job was to, eliminate threats out to about 800. So he's a good dude. Resurgence PPG. Resurgence PPG is a paramotor. They help disabled veterans and stuff like that. It's like a way of them, like, kind of getting out of their comfort zone and stuff like that, and dealing with some stuff that they might have going on. So I that's one of the charities that I donate to. Fortitude Consulting is a training group out of North Carolina where they teach like carbine courses, and they teach pistol courses and stuff like that. I always throw them a shout out because I like them. Canebrake Consulting. Funny story. I know this, like, my shout outs always take forever, is because, these are all good people and they deserve a good shout out. Canebrake Consulting. So, I always say, Mike Lewis, the owner of Canebrake, he was, a dude who saw a deficiency within the Army, and he actually did something about it, which is rare because, the Army likes to piss on your creativity and stuff like that. Mike, I was actually at Fort Bragg, like the last 2 weeks. And whenever I called Mike and told him, hey, man, something's going on out here, blah, blah, blah. I'm not going to get, into the details or whatever. He said, man, I'm 15 minutes down the road. I'm on the way. And my dude literally drove out to the parking lot near where we were at, dismounted his vehicle, walked like 800 meters to come and meet me just so that me and him could talk talk about what was going on. And he, came out and he did a demonstration to some soldiers. He gave me some of the newer stuff that he's working on. He's just a good, genuine dude. Actually, Richard, I need to get you linked up with him. So that's Canebrake Consulting. Palmetto State Armory, you mentioned them a little bit ago. That's Chad. I keep saying I'm supposed to do something with PSA. I'm supposed to go down there and help them design a designated marksman type rifle and stuff like that. And I've just been super busy with the whole cheetah thing and then the fucking Rona and all that other stuff. It's just busy. Criterion Barrels are the ones who sent me the barrels. And they expedited my last order. And those are the barrels that I'm using for the cheetah. They don't really give me a discount or anything like that. It's just, they're really good barrels and I like them. So I'm going to promote their product kind of thing. I know that took forever. Ash, your sponsors and shout outs.
All right, my sponsors. The one and only one I need is Title II Manufacturing. I kind of did the whole sponsorship thing years ago and had a ton of them. For me, it felt more like work, and we've talked about this in the podcast before. And then when Chris came to me and offered it, I said, man, I'm not doing the sponsorship thing. I've already heard your whole side of sponsorship. We're not like that. We're a family. And so he's the one and only I got and the only one I need right now. And I can't wait to show off the rifle some more at TRM.
Yeah.
He looked good down there in Georgia.
Yeah. That was a good looking gat. And I think after Chris got done with it, the first shot that you made out of it or whatever was like a 600-yard shot, wasn't it?
No, I zeroed it. I re-zeroed. It was because he took the scope off and everything.
Oh, that's right.
I confirmed zero, but yeah,
that'd have been a way cooler story. Why didn't you just fucking run with it?
I did take it to that Georgia match down there, the Guardian that I had a free slot for. That was the first match I ever left early from. We did not do good. I worked the bolt too hard. I should have listened to our guy down there in Alabama. I broke a pin on the bolt catch to keep the bolt from coming out. Sheared it off. Partner had a 223, didn't do as well. We were undergunned through a couple stages, and then the second day it was raining like hell. We shot one stage, and I didn't bring enough ammo for the match. The one time a match director said bring 150, and I'm like, that means 100. He meant 175.
Yeah, people get mad whenever you tell them like to bring 200 rounds. They're like, I got to bring 200 rounds of match ammo. This is bullshit. And then they might shoot 50 rounds, and they might shoot all 200. It just depends. And then
Richard's seen it. I mean, he said bring 75, bring 100, and I might have shot 33 or something. So I've kind of got accustomed to, they're lying. I don't need no 150. You needed 200. That was a lot of shooting for 2 days. So the first stage we shot, we got wet. I said, we can't even finish the match. And I didn't even have to get it out of my mouth. My partner I brought down there said, I'm ready to leave when you are. I said, all right, let's go.
Feel that. All right, Richard, you said to come back to you. We're back to you.
I wanted to mention that Snipers Unknown Challenge this year is going to be at GTI. You guys remember where that is? They had the Guardian there last year. It's a retired nuclear facility. Yep. There's multiple buildings and structures around there. We'll be inside, on top of buildings, in stairwells, in corners and alleyways, and running through tubes and secret passages. And it's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait to this match in Snipers Unknown this year. It's going to be the best one yet.
I'm glad that you brought that up. So the dudes at Phoenix Strategies and the guys of Snipers Unknown, they gave me a call and they were like, hey man, you promote for Snipers Unknown and Phoenix Strategies and stuff like that. Where would you suggest in South Carolina to host our match? And I was like, what do you mean? And they said, well, as well as we do that there's two sides to like the sniper game. There's fieldcraft and there's urban. And those are two completely different animals. And I was like, yeah. And they were like, so we've got a fieldcraft idea. Like they have an idea for like how they want to fulfill the fieldcraft portion of sniping in their match. They were like, where would you suggest to do an urban type sniping match? And I told them that there's in South Carolina. That was the stipulation in South Carolina. I told them there's only one place in South Carolina to do something like that. There is only one place that comes to mind for, urban type sniping where you have to set up an urban hide and stuff like that instead of doing fieldcraft. And I told them GTI is the only place. And they were like, we thought you'd say that. And then, that was the end of the phone call, just done. And then the next day they made the video or a couple days later, they made the video. They started making announcements and stuff. Hey, Snipers Unknown is going to be at GTI. And I was like, I said that. Yeah. So it was that was a good choice on their part. I mean, honestly, I can't think of a better place for them to do urban sniping than GTI.
That's one of the most fun matches I've shot in by far, Cameron. I mean, we were shooting pistol targets straight down from the roof of the building, 10 feet off of the base of the building, 10 stories up, climbing stairwells, shooting off handrails from top of the roof. And it was awesome.
I really hate that I didn't like. Don't get me wrong. I enjoyed working it because, like the motto for the Guardian is, it's for the kids. I enjoyed working that match, but after hearing people talk about it later on, man, I wish I would have shot that. Like, that's one of those ones that I regret not shooting and only working, So that was definitely one of those matches I wish that I had the opportunity to shoot it and work it. Even if it wasn't for score, even if I just got to go check it out. I didn't get to see the stage where you had to like rappel down a pipe and stuff like that. Like, I heard about it from everybody and I was like, man, that sounds dope. And I didn't even get to see it, so.
Well, if they incorporate some of their stuff from last year into this year, it's going to be even better. I always go to these different matches trying to learn different things and how everyone stages and try to steal their ideas. If I see a stage I like, I might take the whole stage or part of the stage and incorporate it. Something I hadn't done yet that Snipers Unknown did last year. I loved it. And we were shooting out of a moving vehicle. They were side by side. You had two shooters in the back seat and targets. You were going 10 miles an hour. I think we had maybe 12 IPSC targets with a pistol. Turn around, your other guy shot them. The first year they had a boat out there in the water. I've used a boat in quite a few of our matches, just in a stationary pond. But I saw you guys did that hood rat match, and y'all were shooting out of a boat 20 miles an hour.
That was great.
Man, that was awesome. I really wanted to be a part of that. That was fun.
Yeah, so that was a funny thing about that. So I was shooting for that match. I didn't bring anything because I was supposed to RO that match. I was supposed to RO and proof stages. But because I was working on May 22nd, my birthday, I was working on the cheetah. I was working up a load for the cheetah so that whenever I did the demo on Sunday, I could show it to everybody, So I had to work up a good working load that was sub MOA so that, I could go, hey, here's this gun, have fun, So all day while Ashton was proofing stages and stuff like that, I was at a reloading bench, reloading, then stepping outside and shooting at their 100-yard range. Like, I was doing that all day on Friday. And then it comes time for the hood rat match, and they were like, hey, here's a 14.5-inch AR-15, a regular ass M4 barrel. Like, it came off of a regular military M4. Here's a regular, AR-15 with a 14.5-inch barrel and a Night Force Attacker 1-8 scope on it. Go zero it with Mark 262 ammo and go have fun. And that's what I did. I went and zeroed it at 100 yards. I shot like a bug hole group with it. I never knew that military M4s could shoot like that. But a military M4 barrel, if you run good ammo through it, will shoot like its ass is on fire. Shot the match, and in the match, I had no idea, no clue that I was going to be shooting off of a moving boat going, 20 knots or whatever. Just like,
my bad. I should have told you.
Yeah, give me an advantage, Ashton. Damn. And like whenever we go through, I was super stoked about it. I had short range ammo and I had long range ammo. I loaded up some 55 grain stuff, some short range shit. We start, rolling through. I shoot at the first target. Weapon malfunctioned. I was like, no. So I have to drop the magazine, charge it, load the mag back into it, charge it again. Then I get back onto the second target. And I was like, ugh. So that killed my score for that stage. I was so pissed off. But then I was like, you know what? This is a fun match. Like that match, like it was for score, but we didn't give a shit about the scores. We were there to have a good time. So the second time that I shot that stage, I shot it with a lever action 357 Magnum. There is a video of me on a boat going 15 knots shooting at steel targets with a lever action 357 Magnum with an LPVO on it. It was awesome.
And since I got to proof the stages the day before, I told Chris, the next day, I'm like, I just want to hang out, shoot stages I feel like shooting and help, drone and video. we got to the boat stage, he's like, here, put all this hood rat shit on and these chains and the ski mask and take this gap right here and shoot the stage. Don't
Full
say
auto.
nothing.
Full auto.
2 2 3. He's like, don't say a thing, just walk by while we're doing the stage brief and just keep walking. He's like, shoot once or twice and then, let a couple burst out, and you can't tell me that. Full auto. Mag change, full auto.
Actually, the part that you didn't see of that, Ashton, was when you made that first hit.
Well, I did the first shot with the bolt gun.
Yeah, with the 260.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he ran his bolt gun, his 260, going through. First round, impacted the steel on his first shot. And everybody was like, holy shit. Because, like, you could just see it was a freshly painted target. Dead center hit with his 260 from a moving boat. And I was like, it's my partner.
Everybody was like,
partner right there.
That hit hard.
It hit hard. And then he dropped his 260.
My head, put the 260 down. I'm like, nah, we don't need this.
Drops the 260, pulls out the full auto, and fucking missed every shot after that.
I don't care. It was worth it. I scared the targets.
Scared the hell out of it. All right. So, are there any final thoughts? Thoughts for your thoughts? Ashton, you got any final thoughts?
No, Richard, keep doing what you're doing. I don't know if I'll be able to make some of the matches. I'm kind of, shifting what I've been doing to the family and fishing, but I hope you do another series next year. I'm going to try to I think I need to make 2 more of your series to get best 3, and then the finale.
Yeah.
Doubt I'll make the next one, but the one after that, me and Cam are going to try to come to.
Yep. Yeah, me and Ashton are shooting not this one because the one on the 11th.
July 11th is next. Then it's September the 12th is the next one.
Yeah, so July 11th I have drill, so I'm out of that one because I got to go play Army. Which that's kind of been like my big downfall for like this whole series is I'm like, damn, that one's on a drill weekend, that one's on a drill weekend, that one's on a drill weekend. I'm like, fuck. So then like whenever I do get to shoot one, I'm like, all right, this is the only match I get to shoot this month, and then I don't get to shoot another match for a month, and I'm like, oh. But anyway, so yeah, me and Ashton are gonna shoot not this one, not the one on the 11th, but the one in September.
And Snipers Unknown.
Yeah, and then Snipers Unknown, and then the finale.
Yep.
I don't know if I can even make the finale, and that really sucks. I know.
I don't need you for that.
I know you don't. You don't need me anyway. Shut up. But
probably just get me DQ'd. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm a bad partner. But no, I might not be able to make the finale because for the finale, I'm pretty sure I have drill that weekend. I even told the dudes at Snipers Unknown I might not make Snipers Unknown because the Army's, just like anything else in the government, is super inefficient whenever it comes to pushing out drill schedules and stuff like that a lot of times. So I'm over here going, I don't know what to tell you guys. I don't know when I can come and when I can't come out to play. Sorry. So, and then, I haven't re-enlisted yet. That's something I've had a couple of people ask me about because my ETS date, the date that I can officially get out of the Army, is October. I can get out October 4th. I can be out of the Army with 13 years of service if I want. However, July 1 is the day that I take over in the 120th as their senior sniper. So do I stay in and take that position, or do I get out and grow out my beard, grow out my hair, become a hippie, start smoking pot and doing blow off of hookers' asses? Like, what do I do? So then, they're dangling this thing in front of my face, and I'm like, I kind of want to bite it. I kind of want to bite that donut. But then at the same time, I'm just like, man, they're really taking their pimp-ass time about making this thing happen. So the last thing that I did for the Army, Richard, I had told you, and I apologize for this, I had told you that you were going to be on the show last week because I didn't think that I was going to have to go do Army shit because we've been doing virtual drills. So I was like, they're going to cancel AT. No, we drew 55,000. I'm going to say that again for the viewers. 55,000 rounds of ammunition to fire between 14 soldiers. Don't get me wrong. The number started off as 34. It was supposed to be 34 soldiers that I was supposed to be in charge of. But so many people got reduced because of the Rona or because of, or injuries or anything like that. I only had 14 soldiers to burn up 55,000 rounds of ammunition. 55,000 rounds of ammunition. Anyway, and so, I had texted you and I was like, hey, man, I'm sorry. We're going to have to push this back another week. And then, here we are. I mean, it worked out and everything, but still, it still sucks that I had to, push back our date for this and whatever. But, duty calls, Army comes first. Like I said, if I re-enlist, everybody will know about it. It'll probably be a thing on Facebook. I'll be like, all right, I re-enlisted. And, if not, then I'll probably make a post about that too. I'll be like, yep, gave 13 years of service and I'm out of 5,000. One of the things that depends on is if the Army gives me everything I want, because, I asked for a lot of stuff. This is the last time that I would be re-enlisting. I would be doing a full – if I re-enlist, I'm doing a full 6 years because I'm so close to retirement. I'm at 13 years. I only need 7 more. Just like Terry Williams was just saying, I only need seven more years and I can, get out with 20 years. But, is the juice worth the squeeze kind of thing sometimes, it interferes with a lot of stuff that I want to do and I have, planned and stuff like that. I also got a job offer from a 3-letter agency in Afghanistan. So my job would be working in Afghanistan for one of the 3-letter agencies. And, that they offered a pretty good amount of money, but do I really want to live in Afghanistan again? I've been to Afghanistan a few times and, every time I've been, it's been pleasantly unpleasant, it's Afghanistan. I'd have to be away from home. Normally I would say I'd be away from my family, but we're not going to talk about that. Anyway, Richard, you got any final thoughts?
No, I'm good. Glad you had me.
You're like, got it all covered, bro. All right, man. Well, I look forward to shooting the match in September. I look forward to, Snipers Unknown. I look forward to the finale. Hopefully, God, please have the finale. I look forward to shooting more of your matches and continuing to, have our my YouTube channel come out to your having my YouTube channel come out there and demoing products out on the TRM range. I'm continue to promote TRM, stuff like that. One of the businesses, like I said before, it's just I like to support good people. That's the kind of thing, and I consider you to be good people. Otherwise, I wouldn't have you on my show. Ash, I know I kind of bounced over to you. Are you sure you don't have anything else to say?
Nope.
Love you too.
Y'all want some fish next week?
Yes. Are you sharking?
No, Spanish mackerel and king mackerel.
That's right. You already said that. Yes,
Yeah,
I do want some fish.
Now.
Oh yeah, you've got some ammo for me, Ash.
Nope.
Yep. You've got some ammo for me.
Nope.
I need to come pick that up. All right. Well, anyway, thanks you guys for watching. Yeah. Okay. You got some brass for me, boy.
Yeah.
I will hurt you. I don't care if you're 6 foot tall. I will hurt you. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We appreciate the podcast. Come out next time. I'll post about it on social media and everything. Richard, thanks for coming on the show and everything. And we are about to be done.
I don't believe you.
We're not done yet.